back. I'm Krista from plantluxxe. I'm here for you every Monday and Thursday. Well, I kind of missed this last Monday because we had some stuff come up over here and I'm really sorry. I'm a little late on my posting this time. So this plant, I have to talk about it because it's like one of my super amazing favorite plants. Well, I know I say that about a lot of my plants, but come on. This guy, he's awesome. So I wanted to talk to you today about Rojo Philodendron care, some tips and tricks, and you need to run right out and grab some of these babies because I think they're at Lowe's right now. So yeah, definitely. You gotta have this in your, especially if you're doing like a jungle vibe or you just want a statement piece. This is the showstopper. Everyone always stops and asks me about my Rojo Congo. All right, anyway, so thank you for joining me today and let's get right into it with some tips and tricks on this beautiful Rojo Congo Philodendron. Thank you for coming and let's get into it. So guys, let's kick it off with first things first. Here are my big giant Rojo Congos, and as you can see, this one's a big one. There are two separate stems in this one. So this is my biggest Rojo Congo, very giant, and yeah, lots of new growth on this guy. This guy I've had for quite a while, and it's a singular stem. Well, it's actually a double stem. It's very mature, its leaves are. One of the things I'd like to mention is the structure of the leaves. I don't know if you can pan it and see these striations and how the indentations in the leaves are very pronounced versus this leaf down here, even though it might be the same size leaf. This is not as a mature leaf. And the striations are less pronounced. It's more of a thinner leaf and this is more of a thicker leaf. So I've had this guy longer than I've had this guy. So this guy has been under my care for quite some time, which might explain the different look of the leaf, the structure, the thickness, the individual striations. So I think one of the reasons why, even though this obviously is a larger plant and it does seem to have the same size leaves, and if not larger, this leaf compared to say this one. So one of the reasons why I think that in particular, the midsection of the leaf and the veins in the leaf are far more pronounced is because of the lighting and also because of the Jack's fertilizing system that I have this plant on. I know that with maturity, this plant does tend to get darker, more burgundy leaves from what I understand, but I also understand that it depends on the lighting that you have it. I have it in sort of back away from the window, indirect light. And sometimes it's quite shady in this spot. I try to leave the door open to give it some sunlight. This one is in a different window. And again, this is a relatively new plant, still same gorgeous, really nice plant. It's just that the thickness of the leaf is a little different because I believe it has something to do with the feeding system, Jack's, that I have it on. And remember, in a previous video, if you haven't seen my plant care video, please take a look at it. But in a previous video, I do explain that every time I water my plants, I do a constant fertilization system year round. And I do think that might make a difference. Okay, so what I would like to talk to you next is Rojo Congo care. So let's start with lighting. First thing is lighting. You can have it in a, obviously in a window, that's perfectly fine. I do not have this one in a window. This is back from the window, I would say about 10 feet, okay? And it's in a south-facing situation. So it's back and there are 3 light sources. So 2 windows on this side and a door in the center. Okay. This one is in a window over in this room over here, so it's receiving more sunlight. Now, I think it's pretty much a tried and true equation that the more sunlight you give your plant, the more growth you'll see. So that's something to consider. However, this plant right here prefers, more of an indirect lighting situation. Direct sunlight is not recommended. It can burn the foliage. So if you wanted to take this plant outdoors, I would not place it in direct sunlight. You will get yellowing and burning, and it will scorch your plant. So that's something to consider if you're a person who likes to take your plants outdoors. I have never taken these ones outdoors. The second thing to consider is humidity. This plant prefers temperatures between no lower than 65 degrees to 80s or so. Now, obviously, a home situation, 70s is perfect for this plant. So just keep that in mind. Keep your temperature at something that you're comfortable with, not too cold, not below 65. And also not near any drafts, or like if you live in a climate where there's winter, try to keep it away from any drafts, or if you have AC rolling in your home, AC is constant, keep it away from the air conditioning unit or the air conditioning vents. It won't like it at all. Humidity is super important. This is a tropical plant from South America, Rojo Congo, Rojo meaning red, okay? So it's a South American plant, that's where it's native. So it does prefer very moist conditions, so humidity is key. I would have a humidifier somewhere nearby, and I would have it running daily. So that's a tip. That's, I think, one of the other reasons that this plant is loving it. Now, granted, the humidifier is about 10 feet away from it, but it's still close enough to really receive the benefit of humidity. So humidity is key. Not to talk about Monstera Deliciosa in this video, but that's the reason why my Monsteras grow so prolifically, is because I have them right next to a humidifier. Anyway, this guy is a little pulled back farther. I haven't experimented with the humidifier right up against it, but I'm wondering, hey, what would happen if I did have it next to a humidifier? I wonder if it would double the growth. I don't know, I've never tried it. Maybe you can try it, and maybe you can come and tell me in the comments below. Please do. Make sure that you have I would say either some synthetic fertilizer like Jack's, or something organic that you're comfortable using. And there are a ton of options, whether it's fish emulsion or worm castings, or there's a ton of options out there. So that's up to you. I don't use that though. I use Jack's. It's easy for me. So anyway, that's what I use. But obviously make sure you're fertilizing the plant regularly, because this plant does seem to kick out a lot of growth, and the growth that it kicks out are very giant leaves. So that takes a lot of energy to produce. Okay, the next thing I'd like to talk about is watering. When you're watering this plant, you have to make sure that you're using a well-draining soil. By well-draining soil, I'm just gonna go as scientific as saying I used Miracle-Gro. It was the potting mix. That's as scientific as it's getting here, okay? That is it. I did not use any other special soil. I literally went inside the store. Don't pick it up outside if you can avoid it, because outside, bags of soil that sit outside tend to have critters in them. Try to avoid those. Try to pick up soil on the inside of a hardware store or garden nursery or what have you. So anyway, I used Miracle-Gro potting mix. So watering, as far as watering is concerned, make sure that you are letting the soil dry out between waterings. The first 2 inches, when you stick your finger in, should be dry before you water it. So if you feel coldness or dampness on your finger when you stick it in, don't water it. Let it dry out, okay? Then when you water it completely. Now remember, you're going to want to have your fertilizer in the water when you're watering your plant. You don't want to water, then let the water go out, then fertilize. You want to do it at the same time. Okay, so just remember to do that when you're taking care of your Rojo Congo. Another important thing to remember is caring for the big leaves. You have dust particles in your home. If you have pets, there's dander, there's hair, there's whatever, lint in the air. Make sure that you are cleaning the leaves. Okay, that's important. I'm gonna show you how I do it. I buy a giant thing of neem oil extract, and then I add a little bit of soap and I fill the rest up with water, and I use the quart instructions. I think it's a half a teaspoon of neem oil, and I think that it's a drop of soap, and yeah, fill it up with water. It's super easy. But you always need this if you have plants. So it's best to buy a gallon of it and just kind of use it and not run out. Spray the towel, paper towel, and then I just mist a little bit on the leaves. And this is safe for the plant. You want to do this regularly because I think that from my experience, these particular plants are susceptible to those little spots that get on the leaves. So I just treat the leaves weekly. And I spray just a little. Not a lot, unless there's an infestation of some kind, and then you want to soak them thoroughly, obviously. And I make sure that I do get around the root base. All right, just as a preventative, because we want to be preventing. And then I wipe my leaf very gently. You cannot be forceful with this. It has to be gentle. So make sure that you are being gentle. Okay. And it does make for a very shiny leaf. And that's never really a bad thing because you have cleaned it. This is part of plant care 101. Okay? If you have a little left on there, that's okay. If you want to go back and wipe it later, you can. If you have a lot of plants though, you're probably trying to get this done and get it done quickly. Just remember that when you are wiping, to be very gentle because you can rip the leaves and you can hurt the plant if you're not gentle with it. And then if you really, really feel like, you know, hey, I want to get that underside, I would just be very, very gentle about it. I don't tend to wipe the undersides. I just tend to wipe the tops. And I try not to do too much here with the wipe. I try to be careful because it's easy to damage the plant, so I try to be very careful. In a moment, I'm gonna show you a plant that I purchased and I did not do anything to, so that way you can kind of see, hey, that's how it looks in the nursery. And if you are a person that has a local Lowe's near you, I highly recommend that you go look. They have put Rojo Congos outdoors, at least in my area, maybe in yours too. I'm not really sure how Lowe's orders their outdoor plants. But they actually had Rojo Congos, a lot of them, and they had them sitting outside for hardly any money. When you're talking about buying a plant like this, usually you're going to spend quite a bit of money, especially at a local nursery. But Lowe's doesn't seem to know what those plants are worth. So go to your local Lowe's. I have seen them recently. They are in the outdoors section, just kind of a tip. And if they are $24 in your area, great, but in my area, they marked them down half, $12. So this plant over here, I bought for $12. And I'm going to rehab it, and I'm going to show you how I'm going to rehab it in a moment. But this is how it looks like at the nursery, at Lowe's. Well, you know, at the hardware store. So it doesn't look very pretty when you get it, but after you take care of it and repot it in some new fresh soil and wipe it down with neem oil and treat it and shower it and so forth, you could have something that looks like this in no time at all. And I think it's worth it for $12. Buy 2 of them. Here you go. This is 2. I can't, I mean, I don't know. I think I'm bragging a little, but yeah, that's gorgeous for, you know, what, $24? This? It's insane. I mean, go get it. Go check your Lowe's. It's worth a trip, even if they don't have it. Look, they have them in the outdoor section for whatever reason, I don't know. Okay, so I'm just gonna finish wiping these leaves down. Okay, So let's take a look at the plant that I purchased at Lowe's. Let's spray it down real good. I'm going to show you how to do it. If you pick up a plant at Lowe's or wherever you're picking it up, I'm going to show you what to do when you get one. So let's go do it right now. Spray it, oops, and wipe. Now if this is a new leaf, I can tell this is a new leaf, so if it's a new one, be very gentle because you don't want to mark it up. And if you don't want to wipe the underside, you don't have to. You can just let the underside go. You might have to repeat this process a few times until you see that all of the ugly, okay, by ugly I mean all the white stuff that was sitting on the tops of those leaves that made it look ugly, make sure that's all gone. Those are water spots, and those are spots left over from their fertilization or insect or pesticide control. You want to make sure that's all gone. So you do it once, and then if you see it doesn't look that much different, do it again until you don't see any of those white marks on your plant anymore. So, as you can see, it takes a little bit of grunt work. You might see a little green on your towelette, but that's normal, so don't worry too much about that. The next thing I do is I come down to the plant, and then I take off any expired leaves. And I try to get them away from the root base to encourage growth and to discourage pest infestation. So get rid of old, leaf material, anything that looks like it could create infestation, get rid of it. Anything where pests could be hiding behind, and then spray it. Okay, can you see this? Okay, this plant needs to be repotted. There's not enough stability. Something happened, so it's not stable anymore. So I have it sitting inside of this grow pot here. Probably either be potting this up just like this, or I will be putting it with another plant. Here's the thing with a Rojo Congo though. You need to have the space in your home for them to go pretty wide all the way around. Okay, they don't get tall, but they do get pretty wide and they reach. So they grow toward the light. So they'll end up reaching for the light wherever you put them, and you have to rotate them regularly in order to get like a more balanced appearance of the plant. So if you like symmetry, you're gonna wanna rotate it regularly. Now for some people that might not be practical, and that might be kind of like a pain in the butt. For me, I have it right when you open the door, when you go in the house. So, it works. The way that I have the plant right now, I don't really have to rotate it. But if you have a window, you're lucky enough to have like an upper window that kind of goes down on your plant, it will end up growing up. Because this is not a vining plant. Okay, it's just like a widespread head type plant. So what you see is what you get with this guy. But he will try to reach for the sun. So whatever window you put him near, he's going to reach for that window, and that's how his leaves are going to be shaped. So it's something to consider. especially if you're going for a certain aesthetic. So a couple of options to alleviate those kind of pressures would be to use some stakes, some skinny bamboo sticks, and maybe some either twine or other garden material to stake it up a little bit and have it be like the kind of aesthetic that you like. So you can have a little control over that, but it will try to reach for the window. Okay, and that's pretty much it. Today I'm not going to go ahead and pop this up on the video. Those are my tips and tricks on the Rojo Congo. Get that Jax. The link is in the description below. So, you know, it's there. If you can't purchase it because you're outside of the US, DM me on Instagram and I'd be more than happy to help you guys out. So if you can't get Jax because you live overseas and they don't offer it over there, or shipping is outrageous, just DM me. Okay? All right, guys. Well, I'm super glad that you joined me today. I'm here for you every Monday and Thursday, except for when I have a family emergency, which happens sometimes. But yeah, Monday and Thursday. So check back here on Thursday for another video. In the comment section below, please just go ahead and, you know, if there's something you'd like to see me talk about or show you or, you know, whatever, go ahead and, you know, let me know in the comment section below. Yeah, so thank you so much for your support and thank you for joining me today. Hit that subscribe button if you like this channel. Please do. That's awesome. I'm here for you. So I would love it if you subscribed. And if you like this video, which I hope that you did, and I hope you found some of my advice useful and my tips, you know, something maybe you can apply, hit that thumbs up, please do. So thanks so much. I'll be seeing you next time on Thursday. All right, guys, you stay safe, stay healthy, and I will see you back here next time.